And you're right, energy is becoming a gold mine, and greenfields has really been the bread and butter of our development business for Latin America.
So today it's a pleasure to have here Armando Fregoso, is the president of LATAM da Prologis. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for the invite.
As we enter this new cycle, what is the single biggest shift in your global investment strategy that will most drastically change your footprint here in Latin America?
So, we're paying attention to a lot of the secular and cyclical drivers of the business. I think for Latin America, particularly, online penetration is still young and in its infancy. So as we think about where we want to deploy capital and how we want to deploy it, making sure we stay disciplined to our specifications, both the ones we're currently doing and pushing the envelope on building better, more efficient buildings going forward to build in that long-term resiliency. And also staying closer to customers than ever. Just their needs are changing very fast and very drastically. A lot of the automation and tech that will come to the region will change also how buildings are built, and capital expectations and intensity in the buildings will increase. So we're staying really tethered to that and making sure we don't lose sight of it as we continue to build our speculative development program in country.
There is a lot of change coming up.
Yes, absolutely, and it's one that we're trying to leverage the global scale that we have to really understand where trends are headed in the region, and making sure we stay at the forefront of it.
Okay, nice. And how is Prologis evolving its asset specifications to help tenants balance inventory depth with the current pressure on margins?
Our buildings in Latin America have historically been 10 to 12 meter clear heights with 55 meter truck cords. The column spacing varies between Brazil and Mexico. But what we're doing now, we're doing essentially the column spacing that we do in Brazil in Mexico. So 20 by 20 is becoming a market norm across the region. We're also elevating our buildings. Instead of doing 10 or 12 meters, we're doing 14 meter clear height going forward. So you've seen some development in the sprinkler system, which allows us to push that. And we're starting to also push the envelope. We used to do, LEED and certified buildings. We're trying to do LEED Gold, LEED Platinum where possible to help decarbonize the supply chain with our customers as we think about some of the sustainability objectives that we have over the long term.
Nice. And that goes to this third question, is like energy availability is becoming the new gold for logistics. Is Prologis transitioning from being a pure play real estate provider to becoming an energy partner for its tenants through solar or EV infrastructure?
Yeah, so we do have an energy business, and it's run by one of our colleagues globally. And we now have about 1.3 gigawatts of solar energy production across our roofs. And this really is an effort to provide clean energy to our customers, but also to help decarbonize their supply chain by 2040. So it's something we're doing a lot of in Latin America. We've approved a little over $100 million of investment to put roofs across our to put solar panels across our roofs. And it's something that's been really well received by the customers as well. And you're right, energy is becoming a gold mine. And so we're also going through the effort of energizing buildings where possible to really be positioned for potential higher and better use around data centers or whatever the need comes relative to that.
And for the tenants, it's also comfortable with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And with interest rates stabilizing but land scarcity increasing in prime hubs, are you betting more on the redevelopment of brownfields or pushing the boundaries into secondary emerging markets?
So we're doing both brownfields and greenfields. Greenfields has really been the bread and butter of our development business for Latin America over the past decade plus. But as we start getting closer to the city, and as you think about online penetration maturing, getting close to that consumption base is really important. So we're starting to get into the brownfield sites that are essentially dilapidated warehouses that need redevelopment. And we've done a lot of that globally. So we know how to do it. In Sao Paulo, we acquired a big old manufacturing site close to the Sao Paulo city. 24 months ago, and it's been a really exciting project.
You've been a cornerstone of the GRI community for years. Looking back, which specific deals or relationships forged here you feel best represent Prologis impacting Latin America market through the GRI Institute?
Listen, met a lot of relationships at GRI over the years. I think the institution itself has been a great pillar, particularly in Brazil, as we helped mature and institutionalize the sector. And I think you guys have done an incredible job at really leading that effort in partnership with all the developers, investors, et cetera. And it's been really fun to call some of the professionals I met at GRI close friends, like in the panel we just finished.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
For us, it's also a pleasure to have you. And looking at the big picture, how would you summarize the evolution of the Latin America market over the last 10 years? And what is the boldest prediction for where we are going to stand a decade from now?
So, the last 10 years have been really excited. We essentially created a business in Brazil. We matured a business in Mexico. We built $11 billion of assets. I think the next 10 years, based on what the customers are saying, based on what the secular trends are telling us in terms of online penetration and where it should go, and what that means for our sector, I think the next 10 years are much more exciting than the last 10 years. I think you'll see customers, especially some of the larger customers that need these larger footprints, really go on offense, and I think we're well positioned for that. And I'm really optimistic on the capital markets also maturing for particularly Brazil and making sure they keep up with some of that demand that's coming.
Armando, it was a great pleasure to have you
Likewise.
here with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.